We have been discussing about the Unit 2. I would like to tell you, Unit 2 consists of two parts. One is called as bearing capacity of shallow foundation, and the next part is settlement of shallow foundation. So bearing capacity of shallow foundation, we have already completed. Under that topic, or we can say under that chapter, we have talked about design criteria, factor affecting bearing capacities, ranking theory, which can be utilized to determine the minimum depth of foundation. We have also talked about the different methods used for the determination of bearing capacity, like Meyerhof theory, Vincenzo's formula, IS code formulas. We have also talked about the how we can decide the depth of foundation for the in different situations. So that comes under the first part, that is the under the heading bearing capacity of shallow foundation. So in today's lectures, we shall go for the settlement of shallow foundation. Whenever we talk about settlement, settlement is nothing but it is the vertical displacement of a structure, right? It's called as settlement. See, settlement, whenever we talk about settlement, settlement is nothing but it is the consolidation. Consolidation chapter we have studied in the 5th semesters, right? So this settlement of shallow foundation, what we can say, it is the extension of the consolidation chapter. It is the extension of the consolidation chapter. So if settlement is going to take place uniformly, that means if the structure is going to settle uniformly, in that case there will not be any collapse in the structure. But if there is a differential settlement, there will be collapse in structures, right? So point is types of settlements. What are the how we can calculate the total settlements? Total settlements, or we can say consolidation. What are the types of consolidation? What are the various types of consolidations? What we have talked in the 5th semesters. Primary consolidations. Before that, initial consolidation, elastic consolidations, secondary consolidation. These things we have talked. It is the same things here, but we are going to express in the form of settlement. So first one is the initial settlement or immediate settlement or elastic settlement. All the three terminology you have to remember. Next is called as consolidation settlement or primary consolidations or primary settlement. The third is the secondary settlement or secondary compressions. The third we are not going to discuss because third is very difficult to determine. It is beyond your syllabus. So first we shall go for the initial settlement or immediate settlements. What do you mean by initial settlement? Initial settlement, let us take the example. Whenever you are going to construct the foundation, the settlement after construction of the foundation is going to occur within 1 week, right? That is called as initial settlement, elastic settlement or immediate settlement. Let us take example of the earth dam or embankment. I have already told you at the time of consolidation chapter. When you are going to construct the earth dam, definitely we are going to put the soil. We are borrowing soil from some other place, right? And keeping at the locations where we have to go for the construction of embankment or earth dam. So you will see that the soil will settle automatically. Soil will consolidate automatically, right? How it will consolidate? Because the soil consists of the air, water, and the solid particles. So due to its own weight, it will also settle. It will also consolidate. That is also called an initial settlement or primary settlements. Sorry, elastic settlements or initial settlement, right? Or immediate settlement. Three words are there. So now we shall see how we can calculate the immediate settlement or elastic settlement or initial settlement in cohesionless soil. These things we shall discuss. How we can calculate these are also very important for the numerical point of view. Based on this, the numericals are also asked in your AKT exams. I will also upload some solved numericals in Google Classrooms so that you can go through it. So immediate settlement in cohesionless soil. There are two approaches. The first one is called a De Beer and Martin approach. They have given one formula to calculate the immediate settlement. SI is equal to H by CS into log E into delta sigma bar plus delta sigma divided by sigma bar. So you can see here H is the thickness of the layer, and the sigma bar, initial effective stress, we can say. Initial effective stress. What does it mean? When we are going to construct this structure, definitely we are going to construct the structure or footing on the soil. So due to the weight of the footing, the settlement take place. That is called initial settlements. And this is the change in effective stress. Delta sigma bar is the change in effective stress, and CS is nothing but it is the compressibility constant, which can be calculated by 1.5 QC by sigma bar. QC is nothing but cone penetration resistance value, static cone penetration resistance values. We have already talked about the SPT, standard penetration test, cone penetration test, right? So QC is the cone penetration test value. So that was the first approach, De Beer and Martin approach. The next approach is elastic, how we can calculate the elastic settlement using the strain influence factor. Strain influence factors. For this, many researchers have given these ideas. You can see the Semerton-Man, 1970s. Later on, it was also developed, further modified by Semerton-Man. It was 1978, or Semerton-Man-Hartmann. The question is also asked sometimes, how we can determine the elastic settlement or immediate settlement or initial settlement using the Semerton-Man-Hartmann formula. So we have to also remember the name of the researcher. What they have suggested, that the strain influence factor for a square footing L by B is equal to 1 and ST footings L by B greater than or equal to 10. See, what do you mean by strain influence factor here? Definitely, whenever you are going to construct the structure, the stress is going to be influenced by, experienced by, not influenced, experienced by the footing on the soil. And due to the stress, the thickness of the soil layers which are available below the bottom of the footing is also going to consolidate or settle. That is the strain. So we shall see here how we can apply this formula, how we can calculate. You can see this diagram. DF is the depth of foundation, Q bar is the stress, or right, stress is going to be applied by the foundation or footing, right? So an IZ on x-axis, you can see this is the IZ, and in the vertical direction the Z depth is there. So what is given there? A strain influence factor IZ varies linearly for a square or circular foundations. You can see the value of IZ means a strain influence factor at depth Z is equal to 0. Here the Z is equal to 0. These values of IZ will be 0.1, and the values the values of a strain influence factor at depth 0.5b. You can see this 0.5b is there. What is the values of IZ? 0.5. Similarly, at depth 2b, the values of a strain influence factor is 0. It is even written. Also, it is also written here. That means In case of a square footing, right, the variation of strain influence factor or strain the strain influence is only up to the depth 2b, right, not below that. 2b is the, suppose b is the width of the square footing, b is the suppose 2 meter. So what will be the values? 2 into 2 is equal to 4 meter from the base of the footing. So you can see this solid lines for a square footing. Similarly, this is given for the circular footing. For rectangular foundations, the L by B ratio is equal to or greater than 10. Here also it is given there, L by B greater than or equal to 10. The values of Iz, Z is equal to, at Z is equal to 0, at B and 4B, what is the values of strain influence factor? 0.5, 0.2, 0.5 and 0 also here. There. You can see here 0.2 and then 0.5 and then 4B for L by B greater than or equal to 0 for rectangular footing. For intermediate values of L by B ratio in between 1 and 10, right? In that case, we can utilize the method of interpolation. So we can use this formula. This researcher formula. The researcher have given the formula. The immediate settlement is equal to C1 into C2, Q bar minus Q, summation of Z is equal to 0 to 2B. That means this is for a square footing. Z is equal to 0, Iz, strain influence factor, Es is the Young modulus stability, and delta Z is the layer of the soil available below the base of the footing. Here also it is written C1 is equal to correction factor for the depth of foundations that can be calculated by Q by Q bar minus Q. C2 is equal to correction factor to account from a creep in soil. As you know that the settlement may take place for a long time. So for this, the formula is 1 plus 0.2 log 10 times in year divided by 0.1. Q bar is STS at the level of the foundation, and Q is equal to gamma dF. Gamma is equal to density of soil, dF is the depth of foundation. So gamma d is nothing but the surcharge weight. So Q is the surcharge weight and Q bar is the stress which is going to be applied at the base of the footing. Modulus ES is the modulus stabilities. Iz is equal to average vertical strain influence factor. See, modulus stability can also be taken from this table. You see that for you can see for loose sand, this value varies from this one, 10.35 to 24.15. For silty sand, 10.35 to this. But like that, we can also use this table to take the values of modulus stabilities for different types of soils, right? See, the other idea how we can calculate these values of Young modulus stabilities, if you know the SPT values or N values. The N value definitely we are going to find out by the SPT, standard penetration test. You can also correlate the values of cone penetration resistance values with Young modulus stabilities. You can see the Simerton band has given this one correlation. The Young modulus stability is equal to 76 N. N is the N values, number of blows occurred from SPT test, SPT. So if you are, suppose you are going to carry out the SPT, standard penetration test at the site, so whatever the number of blows you are going to get, multiply by 76, you can get the value of Young modulus stability. Suppose you are going to test the static cone penetration test at the site. In that case, they have Simerton man and et al. Has given also the formula E is equal to 2.5 QC for square and circular foundations, and Young modulus stability for steep foundation is equal to 3.5 QC. So these correlations can also be utilized to calculate the values of Young modulus stability. Now we shall see that how we can use that formula by using these diagrams. You can see the calculating the strain influence factors. The IZ with depth, you can see the figure A, figure B. Figure BA is the plot in between strain influence factor IZ with depth, right? And figure B is the cone penetration resistance on x-axis, and on y-axis depth is there. So two diagrams are there. So both the diagrams we can use to uh, to calculate the values of immediate settlement in granular soil. You can see here we have already talked about this IZ versus depth. Now we shall talk about the cone penetration resistance versus depth. You can see here the solid line is also there and dashed line is also there, right? So what we are going to do here, the solid line is the actual cone penetration resistance. Whenever you are going to carry out the cone penetration test at the site, right? So we shall get the values like this. You can draw the graphs in the form. This will indicate the solid line, right? And the dotted line or dashed lines, which indicates the average values of the cone resistance. Average values means what? Suppose here, this solid line starts from here. QC value start from here. So these values plus these values will be taken as average. So after taking average, we can find out this. We can draw the dashed lines, or that is called average static cone penetration values. So what we are going to do here, you have seen in the formula delta Z is there. That means we are going to divide the layers of soil below the base of the footing in different numbers. You can see delta Z1, delta Z2, delta Z3 and delta Zn like this. So for different layers, the values of different IZ values and different values of QC, we have to know to using these values in the formula. So dashed value is nothing but the average values. As I told you in the beginning that the Z is 0 here, at Z is equal to Z dash here, this may go up to here, here Z dash, here Z dash it is there, Z dash, here Z is equal to 0. Here we should not get it confused. Q bar is equal to gamma df. Actually, is it a Q? It is a Q, not Q dash. So Q is equal to gamma df, nothing but this surcharge weight from here to here. What is the stress which are going to be applied at the base of the footing is also considered in the formula. So in the beginning already I have told you delta Z1, delta Z2, delta Z3. We are going to divide in different layers. You can see here from this table. This table you have to understand. We shall talk about this table. Suppose the layer 1, 2, 3, delta Z, delta Z1, delta Z2, delta Z3. Delta Z1 may be 1 meter, 1.5 meter, again 2 meter. Like that we can make the layers. And QC is given his value is given here. So once you know the values of QC, you can calculate the values of Young modulus E1, E2, E3 by this formula. You can see here E is equal to 2.5 QC for square or circular foundations, E is equal to 3.5 QC for steep foundations. And average values of IZ at the center of the layers. This already I have told you in the beginning itself how we can find out these values. So ultimately the summation of IZ by E into delta Z we can calculate here. And after calculating these values, the whole value can be replaced by these values here, right? I will also upload one numerical based on this so that you can understand clearly. So C1, C2, Q bar minus Q, right? What is Q bar? Q bar is a stress going to be developed at the base of the footing due to application of load on the foundation, and Q is nothing but is the surcharge rate gamma D, F gamma dF. So then immediate consolidation we can calculate by this formula. So this is all about the SI, immediate settlement calculations by or using strain influence factors. So two methods we have seen how we can calculate the immediate settlement using de Beer and Martin formula and strain influence factors for the cohesionless soil. Now we shall see how we can calculate the immediate settlement in cohesive soil. For this, the one researcher, Eskelser, has given the formula SI is equal to QB into 1 minus mu square divided by Young modulus of velocity. I is nothing but it is called as influence factor. Influence factor, not is strain influence, but this is the influence factor. And Q is the uniformly distributed load. Here it is also written there. Uniformly distributed flexible area. V the characteristic length or width of the foundation, we can say. ESC modulus of elasticity. Mu the Poisson's ratio, which can be taken as 0.5 for saturated clays. And Terzaghi has also given the values of Poisson's ratio 0.3 for sand, 0.4 to 0.43 for clays based on elasticity concentrations. So this formula can be utilized for the calculation of immediate settlement in case of cohesive soil. Here you have to know the influence factor. The numerical is also asked. I will also upload the one numerical based on this formula, right? So the I is equal to influence factors. How we can know the influence factors? This I is the influence. We shall see in this table. The Young modulus of velocities for normally consolidated clays varies from 250 C to 500 C. C is nothing but the cohesion, right? As you know that the cohesion, angle of shearing resistance of any soil sample we can test by triaxial shear test operators or direct shear test operators. So in your numerical it will be written there whether the soil is normally consolidated clays or over consolidated clays. If it is over consolidated clay is written, in that case you can calculate the value 750 C, 2000 C. C will also be given in the numericals, right? And C is the undrained cohesion. So how this table can be utilized? What is the importance of the table? You see that in the numericals it will also be given there the whether footing is flexible, whether footing is rigid. So whether the load is working at the center or corner of the footing, right? So if the shape of the footing is circular, in that case you can see at this for the center this value we can take as influence factor values, I values. The square footing, this one we can take. Rigid footing, we can take these values. Rectangular footing, L by B is equal to 1.5, 1.36 or 0.68 we can take. L by B is equal to 2.5 you can write here. You have to know it is 2.5, not 2.2. Here it is 2.0, here it is 2.5. You can see L by B is equal to 2.0, here also L by B is equal to 2.0. It's a typing error. So L by B is equal to 2.5. So this table can be utilized for the for getting the values of influence factors. Though normally in the numericals the values of I is also given. Thank you very much.